100 years ago, we imagined societies and values to be set in watertight compartments. People were often referred to as traditionalists, those who had their own values, their own thoughts about right and wrong, and any different ideas were just considered different. Then came the wave of modernism. Religion held no appeal in this time. We wanted to break away from the values of tradition and evolve a common value system. Any introduction of religious discussion in the office was interpreted as outdated or unnecessarily intrusive. If the period of traditionalism was against the idea of anything new, then modernism was against the idea of anything old. Then we transformed into the period of postmodernism, where new and old, same and different, good and bad, everything had a place. We have now entered into an era where there is space and motivation for acknowledging anything that bears use for humanity. The purpose of this presentation is threefold. One is to present and celebrate diversity. My psychology classes teach me that the more distinct information we encounter, the more we are hopeful and believe in the possibilities of life. It is refreshing to go beyond the cocoons of our own places of birth and growth and explore where several others come from. We suddenly move from the river to the ocean and observe that there is so much to explore. My personal journey to the United States a year ago was intended for this purpose, of exploring a culture previously unknown and then to share common humanity. I was fascinated by the idea of introducing such diversity to this place and check the pulse for the responses it gets. Secondly, when we think of the condition of human happiness and the things that people obtain it from, we can admit that world over, our religious values contribute heavily towards it. The deep needs of the soul and our quest for spirituality are still being taken care of by our faiths. Coming from a land of rich spirituality, I see that there are many in the West who travel to India and other countries to explore the rich heritage contained in these lands. And then we have several people from the East who go West to explore the philosophical diversities here. Wherever we may look for, it is still religion that defines morality and values in many of our lives. Those associated with certain belief systems benefit for themselves the advantages of healthier family units, upright children, lesser crime rates, and more social benefits. Meeting at a church or a temple for a religious gathering feels much different than an intellectual gathering for discussing science. Many of the problems that we face in the form of addiction, crimes, or family troubles are powerfully and deeply addressed by religious systems and institutions, and have more value for betterment than a spirituality-absent solution. Thirdly, the most vital contribution of religion to society is the idea of connectedness between human beings. All major religions look upon human beings as having one source and see them as equal. Just as how a mother can never distinguish between her children based on appearance or abilities, so too cannot God distinguish between human beings based on their differences. In fact, the differences in wealth, race, language, nationality, and culture can be celebrated if we see the source of all these to come from God. It is through this idea of common humanity can we find a sense of belonging with each other, a sense of ownership and caring for each other. Besides these advantages, one would know that one of the offshoots of religious expression is healthy art, architecture, music, and culture. We just had a glimpse of that variety today. The beautiful Madurai Meenakshi temple in my state, lit up with all lights at night, can be one of the most beautiful sights we could experience. The confluence of 4 million people for Hajj, the Muslim pilgrimage at Mecca, the grand orchestral performance of Christmas carols, the beauty of a silent meditation are all pleasing to the senses. The diverse places and the culture of the societies from which the religions originated, and to learn the history of their texts, contain an area of study that is worth dedicating a lifetime.